Hello and welcome. I'm presenting to you today on the land of the Wurundjeri people, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this and the many lands on which we meet today, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders joining this presentation. Thank you for inviting me to share the experiences of Commonwealth Home Support providers in the Eastern Metropolitan area of Melbourne who, like many others, have found strength and opportunity in these times of challenge. My name is Lisa Dean, and together with my colleague Dale Park, we are Regional Advisors for Diversity and Wellness in the Eastern Metropolitan area of Melbourne, Victoria. Our work is built on the principles of equity and person-centred practice, and we strongly advocate for responsive diversity, wellness and reablement approaches that focus on the strengths and abilities of people. So we know that the world has turned upside down since the outbreak of COVID, but the resilience, ingenuity and community spirit of service providers has enabled the delivery of services that continue to provide meaningful outcomes for clients. So when COVID hit, establishing the current needs and preferences of clients was a priority. While this initially focused on identifying those who were likely to be the most vulnerable, the needs and preferences of all clients were sought.
Mullum's about strengthening community. It's about that social engagement for our community. We've got some very unique and very special elders within the group of Mullum, and they provide so much insight and wisdom and knowledge about how the organisation is sort of set up. Their dream of gathering places is just as strong as anyone's. There's always been that journey from our elders that have put together these special places like Mullum. The activities group decided we would host a Zoom meeting once a week, and that was based on just trying to keep it in sync with the actual calendar of events we had planned out. So we still host a healing session once a month, and being able to provide some information packs, talk about self-care during the COVID period and to support those who were having some issues with their IT to be able to participate in Zooms. It's quite complex. It was a very unusual circumstance, and it was a tricky one to say the least, but I think we've been able to manage. The group of the elders that we've got now, you listen to the participants and you can hear a great story of where they've come from. We've got poets, academics, artists, musos, writers, storytellers, all amongst this group.
At Yarra Rangers, all of the activities that we do are actually chosen by the clients. This is very important to us because it is their program, it's for them, by them. So what we do is we actually sit down every 3 months. We plan the following 3 months and we sit with the clients and ask them what would they like to do, what are they interested in. We also at that point look back at the last 3 months and say, what did you like about that? What didn't you like about that? So the clients really are the ones who inform us of what they want to do. Obviously we have some constraints, time, cost. We certainly try and facilitate whatever their needs are, and individually each client has a goal-directed care plan, and so that is how we monitor and keep a track of what their individual needs are. We're very open about what we want to do, and we have just really great, robust discussions, and that is how the program is formed by the clients. At Yarra Rangers, our approach to person-centred care is probably similar to most other places where the person is centre. Sounds simple. All decisions, everything about that person, what's important to them, what their goals are, what makes them happy, what gets them out of bed in the morning. All of these things are so important in that sort of holistic approach. So that is how we approach it. We get to know the person and get to really know what is important to them. And we try and match that with what we've got, or what we can do. Really, it's about them, and we're just there to support.
So as we've heard, providers sought to apply good diversity and wellness practice within their COVID response. Applying these approaches enables care that is guided by an understanding of people's strengths, diversity, and the barriers, supports, and inequalities that they experience. Information that's critical to creating environments that are welcoming, inclusive, and help people feel that they belong. Mobilising staff and volunteers required a proactive mentality and resourcefulness to ensure that services remained in place. Interactive magazines, newsletters, and activity packs filled with hours of fun and entertainment, with puzzles and trivia, helpful tips for self-care and managing at home, as well as shared stories and client profiles and interviews. Deliveries galore with survival and isolation packs and DIY kits. Christmas goodies culturally tailored for Chinese, Italian, and Greek clients. Deliveries for medication, food services, shopping, and even emergency essentials during the Great Victorian toilet paper shortage. And all delivered with a smile and the occasional furry friend, Nellie, the Kalara House advocate for the LGBTIQA+ community. Moving to a remote service was a learning curve for all. Elders at Mullam Mullam Indigenous Gathering Place adapted well, eager to navigate Zoom to maintain important cultural links, but like many others, it did not come without challenge, access issues, and digital literacy. Where possible, clients were provided with digital devices and technical support, and organisations like Bridges Connecting Communities led projects to build the digital literacy of older people. Whether by phone or Zoom calls or conferencing via FaceTime, WhatsApp, Skype, Zoom or telehealth, online activities provided opportunities to connect. For sing-alongs and choir groups, card and board games, storytelling and poetry reading. They were a place to meet and to celebrate. For those unable to access online activities, there were drop-offs and drop-ins, with additional help from transport providers pivoting to support community groups and activities.
At Eastern Volunteers, our goal each lockdown, and we did this each lockdown, was to touch base with everyone to make sure that their support network hadn't changed, particularly as people started to go back in the later lockdowns for work, to see what supports they needed to re-engage with us, to remind them that we were here for essential medical and transport appointments. And through the whole way, we were able to continue calling clients on a weekly and monthly basis. So I think up until the first 12 months of COVID, we made over 25,000 phone calls, which was quite large. We also partnered with Mullam Mullam Indigenous Gathering Place, who had to reduce their services and weren't able to go out to the community. We delivered almost 4,000 food boxes to the local Indigenous community, which was fabulous, using our volunteers, using our workforce and infrastructure. We also partnered with Stable One, who had to alter their program that accessed people at risk and homelessness. And we were able to provide some of our infrastructure that was just sitting here so that they could deliver their services. Our goal was not just for our clients, our goal was for community as well, to be able to strengthen it when we can and work together as a sector to be able to really make a difference and make an impact where we could discover that it was needed.
Allied health teams implemented new virtual appointments and processes that engaged clients in programs to educate, build knowledge, and supporting health and well-being through physiotherapy, occupational therapy, podiatry, dietetics, and counselling. Motivating and building the confidence of clients to move and grow, to access and safely complete home-based exercise, and reduce the risks associated with the potential sedentary lifestyle that COVID brings. Building the client's capacity through digital platforms using presentations, words, pictures and diagrams via online recorded and real-time allied health consultation and programs. And as providers began the gradual return to service, creating outdoor COVID-safe exercise programs that built strength, social connection and confidence. It was so much more than just keeping in touch. Providers sought to share and build knowledge and provide a sense of togetherness, encouraging movement and mobility through incidental, purposeful and meaningful activities. There was lots of fun and creativity, from baking, cooking a meal and sharing recipes, to gardening, seed and herb projects, family trees, memory boxes and life story writing. Partnering with schools and others for pen pal projects, or individually curated music for the hearing impaired, sharing letters, postcards and photographs. Discussion groups were popular. The Aboriginal elders shared yarns over a cuppa, Dadiri healing music and meditation workshops, and others connected to discuss current events, movies, or perhaps visit a far-off location through armchair travel. Arts and craft, painting, drawing, crochet and knitting, like the Monash Community Care Blanket Project, involving 150 plus contributors who knitted their way to over 4,000 squares, each of which represents an isolated resident, stitched into one of the 314 blankets, demonstrating engagement of the wider community coming together to support those in needs. And Maroondah City Council social support members who built and displayed carecrows and in the process created joy and new friendships with neighbours and others in their artistry. Responding to the constant change required agility and innovative thinking. Informed by feedback collected through the ongoing monitoring and evaluation, providers use these approaches to adapt and implement programs and activities that put the client at the centre of care.
While the changes to programs have been embraced by clients and staff, we know that we need to be continually monitoring and evaluating our approach to understand the impact of the changes for clients and their carers to be able to respond appropriately. At Caledonia Dementia Care, we surveyed 75 carers of people living with dementia who use our service. Of the 30% who responded, 88.6% of carers reported a decline in their ability to provide care to the person living with dementia, and 80% reported a deterioration in the well-being of the person they cared for after our programs were suspended. These findings clearly reflect the impact of the loss and value of face-to-face services for vulnerable community members. These findings evidence the need for us to continue to find ways to support remote connections through innovation and creativity, and consistent monitoring, review and evaluation of individual client needs and preferences, and also the program more broadly.
St. Mark's, it is a place where we have a lot of fun. We find their needs and their wants and their goals, and according to them and their interests, we try to engage them in activities. Age is not a barrier, so we try to get them to engage in the activities that they used to do.
I was offered the opportunity to discuss books, and so I talked to Linda, and I love books, but she likes music more. So she learned about my books and I learned about her music, which was great.
They really appreciate the program. Actually, it's not just parties, but even us, because we felt isolated as well.
As providers reflect on their experiences, they're also looking to the future. There is significant change ahead for aged care, but the value of applying an inclusive wellness approach is one constant. Just as they have done during COVID, providers will continue to support older people to have more good days. Through knowing their clients, who and what's important to them, and recognising and valuing each person as an individual. Working together, building mutually respectful and trusting relationships, and being attuned and connected to local community. Through documenting what they're doing in care plans that are meaningful and developed with clients, and through consistently seeking feedback to review and refine individual care and service models. In closing, both Dale and I thank the contributors to this presentation and the incredible support that they have been able to provide to achieve positive outcomes for clients in these challenging times. Thank you to them, and thank you to you for your interest today.